All right, guys. So I like to go dirt biking. That's kind of a really fun pastime for me. And so one of my close buddies, Wade, we decided to go out to this place called Johnson Valley, and it's on the backside of Big Bear. So we go out to Johnson Valley, and it's in May 2015. Overall, the riding conditions are great, and we're stoked. We're getting all jittery. We're getting like the adrenaline just flowing. We kick up our bikes, and we're like, all right, it's gonna be a good fucking day. So we start riding, and we're going out, and everything's cool. Everything goes as planned. We're just riding on the trails, and we're going, and it's just a great day. And then suddenly he's like, hey dude, like why don't you lead for a little bit? And I was like, that doesn't really make sense, because if you ride, usually the person who knows the area really well would be the leader, And I was like, well, why? And he's like, oh, well, because I'll go at your pace. And for some reason it made sense, but I was like, okay, whatever, let's do that. So I start riding, and we hit some really, really, really hairy stuff. And we're riding, and I'm going really quick. We're going like 45 in like third gear, and we're just hopping over all this stuff. And then suddenly the trail just ends. And it's just all these berms and ruts. And I was like, okay, like this is uncomfortable, because everything's flying at you, so you're on your bike, and I just start hitting this really rocky stuff. And I'm like, okay, dude, like I don't like this, so I'm gonna hit the rear brake, and it's like right your right foot. So I try to go for the rear brake, and I just gas it, I just whiskey throttle it, and I'm like, all right, dude, like this is the part where I go down. And so once you say that in your head, it's like it's gonna happen. So my bike pitches me off to the left, and I smack my leg, and we were going and I just smashed my head into the ground, and I'm just like. It was like something out of a YouTube video where you hear the guy just moaning, and he's like, and I'm like, oh, like, that didn't feel good. And Wade comes up, and he's like, what the hell, man? He's like, my mom's gonna be so pissed. And I was like, dude, like, is my bike good? And he's like, and I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, dude, everything's fine. So we go back, and his mom's pissed, and I'm like, look, I just need a few motion, I'll be okay. And I'm like, okay, do I keep riding, or do I just, scrap the entire trip? But I'm like, dude, I have to keep riding. So I hobble out, to like my bike, and I'm like, okay, like, can I ride? So they help me onto my bike, and I kick it up, and I'm like, all right, I think I'm good. So instead of going really fast over the whoop sections, we go up to the mountains, and we're doing all this technical riding where it's nice and slow. It's not too crazy, but it's just technical. And the sun's about to set, so he's like, hey dude, why don't we get out of here? And we're like 10 miles out from camp, and I'm like, all right, like that's fine. So we're going. And suddenly he just veers off the track and goes in this really, really sketchy section. And I just clip a rock and go down. And I'm like, fuck, man. I'm like, dude, like, all right, please come back. So I start clapping, and I'm like, he'll hear this. I swear he'll hear this. And then Wade eventually comes back, and he's like, hey, dude, like, you all right? And I'm like, yeah. So he helps me off my bike, and we're going. And he's like, hey, hop on my bike and just feather the clutch and everything. We'll just slowly get out of here. So he pushes my bike like a half mile to get out of this mountain, and we check and we look and we're like, dude, like we look at this just vast, huge desert, and we just see our camp is just a little speck in the lake bed. And I'm like, all right. So 1,000 thoughts are going through my head of like how to handle this. I've seen Bear Grylls. Like I know what's up. But he never had like a dirt biking episode. So I'm like. All right, like, I was like, dude, I know this is like the worst thing to do, but just go, like, just, let's split. I was like, I can't ride bitch on the back of your bike 10 miles back from camp to come back and find my bike later. So he's like, all right, you know what, like, that's fine, let's just go. So he goes and he flies. He's like the quickest I've ever seen the dude ride. And suddenly, I just hear his two-stroke. It's just barely starts fading out, and I hear nothing. And the desert is so quiet when there's no one around. And I'm just on this rock, and I'm sitting there. I'm just pondering life, like, okay, what's gonna happen right now? Like, because the sun's going down, and I'm like, I don't really like this, but I was like, all right, like, I might have to spend the night at the desert. So, time goes by, I'm sitting there waiting, and I'm like, dude, okay, like, where are the lizards at? Like, I'm gonna eat something, like, I'll find a cactus and kick down with my boot, and like, eventually I hear bikes coming by, and I'm like, oh shit, that has to be Wade. And they're up in the mountain, and they're going, but it's like they're too high up from where I was at. So I was like, oh shit. So I rip off my jersey. I'm like, I just start waving. I'm like, wait. And I'm just frantically screaming for him. And he eventually comes back down, and they find me. And I was like, that was just such a good feeling, because I was like, okay, let's get my bike on. And I was like, let's get the fuck out of here. So his dad brings an extra spark plug for my bike. And then we throw it in the bike, I ride back, and it's just, as soon as I get back, it's just the biggest sense of relief. And that didn't scare me for riding ever again. I went out like 2 weekends ago, but that was the sketchiest riding trip I've ever had. And,